My name's Dave Smith. I'm the CEO of Veterans in Sefton, a charity for non-serving and serving personnel of the armed forces, families and dependents. We help out in issues right across the scale. There's nothing to say we won't do because there's nothing that we can't do. If anything comes across and we'll look into it, if we can do it, then we'll do it. If we can't, then we'll find a way or another organisation that does that to help and support anyone that comes along. I served, I took my dad's advice really and took myself a trade first of all and went into the Royal Electrical and Mechanical Engineers. After 5 years of that I got quite bored, so I went and done P Company, then served with the 16 Air Mobile. And when I come back from Ireland, working for the Det in Northern Ireland, I went and done my All Arms Commando. So ended up working with the Royal Marines for my last sort of 5 years of service. Very strange when I came back, obviously because I've been sort of, because of what I'd done, very, very social with all the lads, worked very well with all the lads. And I think when I finished my time, because I was diagnosed with complex PTSD, it tore the heart out of me really. So all of a sudden I'm this sort of, I was someone doing something and controlling a body of men. And then all of a sudden I was this no one really. I felt like a 40-year-old orphan. I couldn't talk to people. So if you are suffering from anything at all, even loneliness, it doesn't have to be a traumatic thing. You've got no one to share that with and talk about it with. And if you do try and share it with someone, if you are lucky enough to have friends and all that and a good circle of mates, it's still very hard to share with. I've got a good strong family. Being a Smith, we come from a big family, but I feel like I couldn't talk to none of my family. None of my family understood me. And then with being diagnosed with PTSD, you take on this complex and you start making things up in your own mind that people don't like you for one reason or another, until you convince yourself that you're probably just a menace to society. So you tend to withdraw yourself from everyone.
My interest started over 12 months ago, and I took a long-term friend in of my husband's. And over night, he used to shout out in the night, and I've not seen this side of him before. When I went into his bedroom to see if he was all right, he was started swearing at me and telling me to get out of his house. He was threatening to throw me through the window. And I thought, I've never seen this guy like this in my life. So I started questioning what was wrong. But then I found out he was getting treated with dementia, and he was on medication for it. When he walked in, because of the medication, he walked really hunched over, crouched right down, and this was a tall gentleman. Then we get speaking to different people. The holistic manager is fantastic, Steve Calderbank, and they sent round Combat Stress to the house to interview him. So they interviewed him and found out after all these years, when he was 19 on his birthday, he was traumatised. When he'd seen something really bad happening. He was in Cyprus, deployed in Cyprus. And he'd lived with that for 60 years, and this only came out 12 months ago.
Yes, I was a Chief Petty Officer Mine Warfare. Basically, I started off as a diver and I worked in mine countermeasure operations. And my career, by the time I'd left, I was as a chief. I was the coxswain, so my role was to look after the welfare of the men as well as dealing with mines in my spare time. I was looking after the welfare, feeding them, looking after them, making sure I was the policeman, the hotel manager, the mother and father, and many times. Hence why I had the exposure to help discover the ability to work with other people, particularly when they were in stressful situations. I'm now a psychotherapeutic counsellor. I work for Veterans in Sefton, and I deal with former military men, women and their families who have issues with mental health and well-being.
I served in Iraq. Was a main one for me during the war. I'll tell it too. It was a massive, massive operation. When I come back, I thought everything was fine, and then years and years later, I started to have flashbacks. We uncovered mass graves, so I'd start to smell the burning flesh. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me until one day I ran in front of a bus in this position. and I got knocked flying, everyone's screaming around me, and I realised something's not right. And I'd start to jump, I'd start to cry at the least little thing, I'd sweat profusely, constantly, all the time. And then I ended up having a nervous breakdown, got sections, and then I was picked up by the wonderful people here at VIS who are now training to be a mentor with. And they basically put me back together. This broken soldier was made into a whole again. And now, never look back. Treating me like a soldier again. Treating me like I was a human being, not just something. I wasn't a condition no more, I wasn't PTSD, I was Mark again. You know, getting, as I call it, the military foot in the backside. But it works. Our CEO, Dave Smith, fantastic fella. Steve Calderbank, the counsellor, absolutely amazing. If they can't put you back together, then no one can.